there was only one time where the Constitution came under a shadow. Of course, it's ironical that those who brought the Constitution under a shadow today are leading the charge of the Constitution being in danger. But it doesn't matter. It needs to be debated. Is there a threat to freedoms? Which brings us to the more important question of where does the threat to freedoms emanate from? Now that we have put provisions of declaration of emergency under which constitutional rights can be eclipsed, as they were in 1975 and 76, where is this threat to the Constitution coming from? The threat to the Constitution comes from proposals which are defying the judgments of the Supreme Court without a full debate. When you talk of people, of sharing of resources in a particular manner, and when you are selling this idea of anarchy, saying that we must make sure that the poorest of the poor get an equal share of the resources of the country, these are fires which are lit, which become very difficult to douse. And once these kind of fires are lit on the ground, then the rule of law comes under a cloud. Governments are pushed to the corner where they have to suppress freedoms. And that's where things start unraveling. So, first of all, there must be an agreement on 2 or 3 issues if you have to prevent a threat to the Constitution. The constitutional institutions should be allowed to work in the spirit of the Constitution. And the 2 biggest constitutional institutions are Parliament and the courts. As far as Parliament is concerned, we need to have a rule of conduct of how Parliament should now be run. This kind of yelling and shouting, and we see this on TV, and it's disheartening. So many people there have worked very hard and want to make a speech. You can't hear what they are saying because there are some people who are shouting slogans. Parliament is disrupting. Parliament is meant to enact laws. Nobody is paying attention to that. You have to see how laws are enacted in the UK Parliament. There is a first reading, there is a second reading, there is a third reading, clause by clause discussion. When have you last seen that in Parliament? So this is how we have to restore the good sense of Parliament. I mean, important laws are passed in 45 minutes, and most of the time is wasted on rhetoric of relatively little national relevance in Parliament. I mean, the streets are there for protest marches. Parliament, you want to make a token protest, but Parliament must go on. So this is one important debate which people must have and come to a landing.